at home. We had 2 disappointing results now in the last couple of weeks, and we've created chances, and unfortunately we didn't finish things off. So the weather's come in. The last 2 days have been pretty decent, and then typical Friday evening, the sun disappears and the rain appears. So it's key. Connacht are on a pretty decent run. Pretty competitive this year, and they're on the road and obviously come up this morning, so they'll be looking to get into the game early doors, and we've got to try and negate that.
The injury situation hasn't been good, and another late change tonight.
Yeah, I think the coaches were drawing short straws to see who could come in to play 12. Lucky has unfortunately picked up a bug overnight, and he's had to pull out this morning. So Stuart Olding's played at 12 before, so he's in the mix, and Michael Allen's on the bench. So at the moment we're pretty well covered in that scenario, but it would be good to get a few boys back on the paddock as soon as possible.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, Ulster have had a lot of injury problems. Obviously, a lot of the international players are away. Have been in Irish camp and they're out tonight. But what has been the problem for Ulster over the last few weeks, Morris? What do they need to address tonight?
I think they need to be very accurate. They're playing a very flat backline attack, and at times it's a maximum reward for maximum risk, and it means that they can't readjust. If you watch the Ospreys game last week, their backline were running from deep. Maybe it's a no case. It was very, very simple things, and that was creating space. Ulster just haven't been accurate in their final passes and with everything they've been doing to date.
Ulster have lost just one of their last 16 games to Connacht, but do you think Pat Lam's side will spot a little opportunity this evening, Andy?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Connacht were very unlucky against Leinster. Was it last week they played? So they could have come away with the spoils there as well, and I see no different tonight. Certainly, Ulster's form hasn't been great of late. They've lost up 10 games out of the last 4 or 5. So, I dare say Pat Lam's going to have them well charged up tonight for sure.
Defence will need to be absolutely shored up. That's been the one big disappointing aspect of Ulster's game recently.
Over the last couple of weeks it has been. Johnny Bell had the tightest defensive record to date, from the start of the year, and then all of a sudden one up things. It's an area, you have to look, the fact that they're putting props in the midfield, even Andy myself will still fancy herself against props, as that's the format they're using even now, but you can't let those big men out in the middle of the park to get isolated, because there's somebody like Bundy Aka there, that's just going to be meat and drink to him as an outside centre, and if they bring on Miles Muliaina, they're going to love that sort of playing against the prop defensively. So it has to be their first up hits are going to have to be very, very accurate.
Is it a confidence thing as well, do you think, Andy?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's like any sport. Confidence, winning breeds success and confidence, and that comes with it. And then, a couple of losses on the bounce, and you start to doubt yourself and start to doubt the things and that's where the key men need to stand up and just pull everybody in, young guys, old guys, whoever, and get them performing again and get them believing in themselves. When you can believe in yourself, an individual, collectively the team will go forward. That's what they need.
And a word on the Ulster captain very quickly, Morris. Roger Wilson, his 168th game for Ulster, 300 not out tonight.
Excellent performance in the fact it's excellent for Roger. It just shows exactly how durable an individual it is.
Okay, Morris, thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed the statistic in the Belfast Telegraph today. The last time Connacht won in Belfast, JFK was elected the American president back in November 1960. Let's join our commentary team this evening. It's over to Jim Neely.
6-3 in Ulster, and Connacht's favour was the score on that particular day, and the men from the West will be hoping to do something similar tonight. They've had a couple of late changes in the pack. Dennis Buckley's been drafted in, and there's a first start for the 21-year-old from Kerry, Ultan Delan. And welcome back to Ravenhill to the man who played over 60 times for Ulster, Willie Falloon. Changes in the Connacht back division. John Cooney on loan from Leinster starts at scrum half, and Dave McSharry comes in at the inside centre position. Darrell Leader, who also scored a try against Ulster last time Connacht were here, starts this game, but that was in April. It was a dry night. The pitch was in fine condition, not that it's not tonight, but the ball was very dry, and Ulster ran in no fewer than 8 tries, winning by 58 points to 12. Well, add up his games for Ulster: Northampton Saints, his Irish cap, his Ireland A appearances, World 15 and appearances for the Barbarians, and this is the 300th senior game for Roger Wilson, a member of a great rugby playing dynasty. Ulster side, complete change in the front row. Vian Herbst has made a quicker than expected recovery from a hamstring problem. Rob Herring deputises for Rory Best, and Callum Black starts at loose head prop. Otherwise it's the same back five. Change in half-backs completely. Marshall and Jackson. Stuart Olding, as has been mentioned, comes in as a late replacement for the under-the-weather Luke Marshall. Craig Gilroy moves to the right wing, and Peter Nelson comes in for his first start of the season on the left. And the referee, the former Connacht interprovincial wing three-quarter, doing his 40th competitive game in this particular competition. And it's welcome to Ravenhill to John Lacey. So a packed house here on this festive occasion. Ulster need to produce a little bit of magic. Paddy Jackson, restored to Ulster colours, gets it straight to big Ali Muldowney. Born in Stratford, Scottish under-20 representative. Back to John Cooney on loan from Leinster. That's a clever kick. Well taken by Danny Pullman, the South African, who's caused Ulster a problem or two in the past. Away by Cooney. Carty. George Naupu, who's got a habit of scoring tries from the base of the Connacht scrum. And a lively start, as you'd expect, and Ulster really didn't challenge that kick-off. Cooney had a little glance, but decides to pass it to a New Zealander, Tom McCartney. Cooney again. Carty.
Stop, 7.
Off the outside of the boot, and Peter Nelson quite wisely shepherds that into touch. Lively start by the men in green.
Yeah, very confident, happy to go through some phases to try and get to a position where they then employed the tactical kick, and they're on a very good run. They'll come confident, they'll be aware of the task that lies ahead of them, but they'll certainly be very happy with that opening passage of continuity.
Well, like Ulster, they've played 10 games, they've won 6, they've drawn 1, and they've lost 3. They trail Ulster by 4 pool points, because Ulster have scored 5 bonus points as opposed to Connacht's 1. This is Rob Herring deputising for Rory Best. 5-man line-out. Well taken by Van der Merwe. Marshall to Roger Wilson, the triple centurion. What a player he's been. Taken on by Robbie Dack, well met by his former colleague Willie Falloon. 63 appearances for Ulster, now in his 3rd season in Connacht. Marshall, Jackson cannot kick directly into touch. He's given that plenty of sky though. That's a good kick. Nicely done though by Matt Healy. And here comes Darrell Leader, scored a try on that position last time out against Ulster, and it's Leader again. Came on as a replacement back in April. Starting tonight. Again is George Naupu. Big fella, born 31 years ago in Christchurch in New Zealand. This is Carty. Oh, that's nicely done, and again Pullman has got outside, and here's Ali Muldowney. Also getting exposed as they did last week against the Ospreys when the ball goes wide. Pat Lam, I'm sure, had a good look at that particular match. Here come Connacht again, Carty. Yeah, that's a little bit of obstruction there. When the referees let that go, have Ulster turned it over? The answer is no. All the pressure coming from Connacht. Muldowney steps inside Wilson, who eventually nailed him. This is the young man from Kerry, Olton Deland, starting his first game for Connacht. Oh, there's a bit of good ground been made there by the Connacht players. And what a lively start by the visitors. 53 years since they last won on this ground. Little sidestep by Matt Healy. Well, the crowd getting behind their side, and they really need to. It was taken on by the Connacht skipper John Muldoon, the only international in the starting 15 for Connacht. Ulster have no fewer than 10. All the pressure coming from Connacht. Still half a chance here. Bundyaki looking for his first try for Connacht. Ulster's defence really being stretched. Naupu driving for the line. He's twisting and he's turning. Callum Black has just about held him up.
No advantage, penalty back here.
And the referee's going to bring them back, I think, for the penalty.
Well, exceptional continuity from Connacht. Ball security in slippery conditions, committing the right number to the breakdown to ensure they maintain that possession, and multi-phase play, and eventually that pressure telling on Ulster's defensive efforts and forced to infringe to halt that first attack.
Well, Matt Healy was the man who set all that up. Was tackled eventually by Stuart Olding. But Connacht not committing too many men to the breakdown, but they get the ball back and they placed it nicely. And this is the forward movement by George Naupu, and taken on them by a skipper Muldoon.
Excellent patience being shown throughout, good option taking, good commitment to the ball carrier in terms of support players coming through. Probably not going to be a night where we see a huge amount of those speculative offloads, but about ball security, maintaining field position and possession, and that's exactly what Connacht have done at the first start of this game.
Well, a nice easy one for Jack Carty. And 3 points for Connacht. So the opening salvo fired by the visitors, some of whom, because they live in and around Dublin, drove up, and the rest of the squad came up by plane this morning from Shannon Airport, so nobody was too inconvenienced in terms of Christmas Day yesterday. But Ulster at the moment being seriously inconvenienced.
Yeah, the Connacht coaching staff will be very happy. Look to have got this team in the right place mentally. Visiting teams, you often find out in the first 10 minutes how they're going to react, and Connacht will certainly be very happy with their start.
Well, the Ulster coaching team will not be very happy with Paddy Jackson's restart kick, because the Ulster outside half has put it straight into touch, which gives Connacht the option of the line out, or they could accept the kick again, but they've opted for the scrum. Yeah, I think Neil Doak looking suitably bewildered there.
It looks like they're moving that scrum just off the centre pitch, dug up around that midpoint, and be an interesting first scrum. Vian Herbst back from injury, and interesting to see how this one goes.
Come on, guys, let's speed up the scrum, please.
Well, the scrum last week against the Ospreys was one of the plus factors for Ulster, but it's a completely new front row. It was Andrew Warwick, Rory Best, and Declan Fitzpatrick a week ago. Callum Black, who, since we were last here on this ground, has signed himself a 3-year extension with Ulster. Vian Herbst on the tight head side. It's not a bad Connacht scrum. Carty off the outside of the boot. That's going to set up nicely. Louis Ludic. Well covered back by Connacht's fullback Darrell Leader. This time it was Craig Gilroy who's used to the full back. Well, that's a good kick by Gilroy. That could go anywhere. Gilroy's made it his own on the Connacht 10-metre line. It was well left by Ulster. Well, Jackson tried a very interesting off the inside of the foot kick. And the pass might have been the better option, but improvisation is one of the things that Paddy Jackson does particularly well. Well done by Craig Gilroy.
Yeah, good following up of that kick, and Connacht will be disappointed to have let that one bounce. That's what caused the mayhem, and then just as they hit from the outside in, trying to close that off, enough of an inconvenience, and then that speculative little grub across field, looking for someone to latch onto as we see the rain start to fall at Kingspan Stadium.
Good challenge by Ulster, back on the Connacht side. Carty into a wee bit of space, that's nicely done. Well covered by Cave. Robbie Dyack. Oh, he's put a bit of width in that, and this could be interesting. Ludic had Gilroy outside him, but he's put a good boot to it. Leader goes back, and he fumbles, and Ludic puts in the tackle. Good stuff by Ulster, putting Connacht under pressure. I think as Carty's had to go down on the ground for that. John Cooney, born in Blantyre in Scotland. Well taken by Oldham. Well, he set that up well. Look, Ulster capitalised from here. Dan Toohey. That's Connacht's 22. Into a bit of space, Peter Nelson. Marshall again. Callum Black. Good presentation by the loose head prop. This is Clive Ross. Wilson. Trying to get outside Muldowney. Marshall. Jackson. Darren Cave's got through. Connacht about the length of the M1 offside. John Muldoon, the skipper. Now will Ulster go for the post, or will they go for the corner? This could be interesting.
Yeah, it won't be an easy kick if they decide to go for it. And looking at the penalty that arises out of that breakdown area, and that all started good option by Ludic earlier on in that to kick forward and establish that field position, but the penalty arising in a first opportunity now for Ulster to address that 3-0 imbalance on the scoreboard.
The whiskered John Muldoon, now 33 years of age, 3 caps for Ireland, the first alongside Darren Cave against Canada in 2009 on the North American Tour. There's Paddy Jackson playing his 72nd competitive game for Ulster. Ulster could do with this one. Well, they haven't got it, so a wee bit rusty there by Paddy Jackson, who missed 4 games because of a shoulder injury. So 10 minutes gone. Rory McIlroy in the tartan scarf, surrounded by friends and fans, I'm pretty sure, not giving too much away. How wonderful to see him here at Ravenhill with the most famous trophy in world golf. Olding. It's a bit of a teaser from Olding. Well taken by Darrell Leader, equally at home at full back around the wing. Cooney, Ulster up quickly. Big hit by Rob Herring, who, remember, started life as a flank forward. Cooney nailed by Ulster's captain Roger Wilson. They've done well. This is Ulton Delan. Big lump of a fella from Kerry. That's a clever kick. Well taken by Nelson. Superb. VN Herbst back in harness. Marshall. It's not a bad little kick. I don't think Nelson was expecting that, so it's Danny Pullman. Cave. Quicker ball for Ulster. Jackson looking for the corner. Yeah. Well, it's going to sit up anyway, and Matt Healy's gone all the way back. Taken quickly by Craig Gilroy, operating on the right wing this evening. He's played right wing, left wing, and full back this season.
Excellent handling from both teams. Difficult conditions. Pete Nelson on that occasion rising high to claim that ball, and the skill level has been exceptional thus far. Had all the makings of a Darren counter with the rain coming down. Very poor conditions underfoot, but both teams acquitting themselves particularly well in the handling stakes in an entertaining first 12 minutes.
Ulster trailing by 3 points to 0. This is Herring. That's a good take by Franco van der Merwe, not wearing his familiar piece of headgear tonight. Ulster pack trying to shunt forward. John Lacey having a good look. It's Clive Ross into the back. This is better stuff from Ulster.
Use it!
Van der Merwe told to use it. Marshall. That's nicely done. Darren Cave trying to get away from Dave McSharry.
Down 7.
Robbie Dyack. Callum Black in the outside half position.
Yes.
Oh, he's done well to get across that 22. And Marshall. Now Jackson. That's for Ludick to chase. But there was a penalty against Connacht. They got themselves offside in the middle of the park. And the advantage was being played by John Lacey, and Ulster will get a penalty. And this one is very kickable.
And that's the accumulation of pressure that Ulster have now been able to assert on Connacht by spending large chunks of time down in opposition territory and going through multiple phases, and that infringement comes as a result of that pressure.
Good work with ball in hand by Callum Black. Positionally, a little bit more, I'm sure, to Paddy Jackson's liking. Just to the left of those Connacht posts. Right on the money by Paddy Jackson, and we've played about 14.5 minutes and we're back to level terms. 3 apiece.
And that 3 points, the result of some good tactical kicking and establishing that field position, and Ulster feel they've got some reward for that pressure they managed to develop. I'm sure coaches have told both teams not to be playing rugby in their own half given these conditions, and that territory battle and tactical kicking will be key to determining the outcome of this game.
There's not much in the way of wind, but the rain is coming down. It's pretty fine, but it still is coming down. Paul Marshall receives. Struck that quite nicely, well covered by Darrell Leader. Good tackle by Rob Herring. Accelerated into his man, put him down nicely. Cooney tries to get away from Wilson. Stuart Olding is in there as well. That's good rucking by the Connacht side. Dennis Buckley at scrum half. Bundyaki. That was knocked forward by Louis Ludick, I'm pretty sure, as was John Cooney. Touch judge on the far side, incidentally, is Nigel Correll. Dudley Phillips is the other touch judge. The TMO is Brian McNeice. And the siding commissioner is a former outstanding referee and one Gordon Black.
They're difficult to field those balls along the ground, that unpredictability of the bounce and just not setting up on that occasion. And opportunity now for Connacht. Look to one of their strike plays. Bundyaki, new recruit, dangerous in the midfield. Matt Healy's looked dangerous all season with time and space. He's got excellent footwork and has made a number of clean breaks already tonight. Interesting to see which option they choose.
Interesting character on the tight head side for Connacht. His name is Finlay Beelum. He's Australian, but he's played under 20 level rugby for Ireland.
Bind. Set.
Takes over on the tight head side from last week from Rodney Ayew, now a fully fledged Irish international. Also getting a wee bit of a squeeze on, but it's not a bad looking Connacht scrum. Paul Marshall getting ready to try to make a mess of it if he can. Play on, says the referee. It's good work by Marshall. Naupu has got away, and that ground churning up badly. Cooney. Carty for Pullman to chase. That's not a bad kick. A wee bit too far. And no problems for Louis Ludick, who is so reliable under the high ball. Nicely struck by him, and Matt Healy thought about a quick one but decided against it.
Connacht relinquishing possession too easy. You put a crossfield kick when you have possession inside your 22. You need to ensure that it's a contestable kick, and on this occasion neither the height or the distance correct, and Louis Ludick able to mark that one and put a good clearance kick in. Wasted opportunity for Connacht inside Ulster's territory.
There's Tom McCartney.
Open
John Lacey.
Both sides, open.
Asking for a better gap. It's supposed to be a metre between the respective lines of forwards and a metre between each man. 7-man Connacht line-out. Willie Falloon at the front. Not the greatest pass in the world. This is Pullman at outside half. Ulster trying to hold him up, but Connacht have got the ball to ground. And there's a bit of a space in the midfield if they can exploit that. That's well taken on by the hooker McCartney. Signed a 3-year deal from the start of this season to play in the Galway-based side. Bundyaki likewise. Played a lot of Super Rugby with the Chiefs back in New Zealand. That's slow ball, and Ulster get the penalty.
Arriving number 1 white. Let it go, please.
Callum Black, I think, having the rights to the ball, arriving quickly, establishing that dominant body position over the ball and getting just rewards for putting his body on the line.
And Dennis Buckley, a picture of innocence, needless to say. Jackson. That's a good touch. Seems to have got his confidence back. Dennis Buckley was brought in at the very last minute. Ronan Loughney was originally selected. Well, he's still playing the ball on the ground. Callum Black, feet well positioned, trying to disrupt there. The penalty went against Connacht. Good chance this for Ulster coming up to the end of the first quarter.
Stay there, Green, stay. Go.
Ulster go long, well taken in by Tui.
Okay.
Here's the drive again. Unfortunately, Ulster have got men on the ground, so it's going to be impossible to get over them. But they've got back up again. That's good work by Ulster. Nice piece of direction finding. Paul Marshall encouraging his pack to make even more ground if they can, and they're doing just that. They have a long way to go, mind you. Now they play it, Marshall. Jackson, back inside to Gilroy. Lovely stuff by Ulster. Gilroy gets away. What a score by Craig Gilroy. Well, he wriggled his way through a sea of green.
Yeah, exceptional little inside pass. Paddy Jackson takes it flat to the line, and then Gilroy, that incision. He just needs the smallest amount of space, and then he's got that footwork. Incredible finish. Marshall attracts a few, and then it was that clever little inside pass, and then the fend, the swivel before the tackle, and tremendous finishing ability on display.
Well, the angle he took was absolutely perfect. It was a nice little fade on Marshall's pass, and Gilroy had a lot of work to do. He got away from Healy, he got away from Leader, and he got away from Cooney. Jackson adds the points, and all of a sudden it's looking slightly healthier from an Ulster perspective. 10-3 up with a quarter of the game gone.
And that's what you want from your wingers. The slightest opportunity, they convert that into points. Marshall attracted. Brave stuff by Paddy Jackson, just back from injury, taking it to the line, and then an incredible individual finish from Craig Gilroy. Mesmerising stuff.
Almost balletic. Marshall. Van der Merwe.
Off her feet, 7.
Dan Tui.
Move one.
That was inside the 22, so Jackson can go directly to touch, but he's decided to go for a length. And he's found Daryl Leader, who is quick. Louis Lulick with the tackle on the Connacht full-back. Naupu. This is the youngster, Ulton Deland, starting his first game for his province. Bundyaki. And again, Herring doing a good job of tackling. Just showed his man the outside. Carty. Naupu. Ulster up quickly, but the first up tackle on this occasion was missed. Well laid back by Naupu. Carty. Danny Pullman comes in from midfield. Big tackles going in from the men in white. Cooney, half a chance of a gap. He's nearly got through. Ball has been spilled. Referee playing advantage. Marshall had a wee bit of a hesitation there, but it's worked out all right. Good kick by Jackson over the head of Leader. A very good kick by Jackson. It'll be a Collins throw, but Ulster back in Collins 22.
Yeah, Paddy Jackson really stamping some authority on this game. Paul Marshall has a little look, sees it's not on, and then players outside, but absolutely the correct decision in these conditions to play for territory. And Ulster, having just scored a try, pressure immediately on Connacht with a line out inside their own 22.
Connacht have taken a couple of men out of the line out, so Ulster have responded by removing Robbie Dyack and Big Clive Ross.
Okay.
Taken away Muldoon, Connacht's captain. No way through for Dave McSharry, who scored the first try of this game back in April.
Leave it go. Thank you.
Herring again, and Dyack in the middle of all of that. Connacht forced to kick, and that's going to be an Ulster line out. It's good work close to the gain line by Ulster, not allowing Connacht any real options.
Some of those defensive frailties from the last couple of weeks being addressed tonight, and it's being addressed by that line speed. They're then getting dominance in the tackle and the contact area, and that's allowing a couple of jackals and poaching at the breakdown to turn over possession. And Ulster now getting into a bit of a groove, establishing territory and leaving with points each time.
Callum Black passing on the line-out call from Franco van der Merwe. Nicely done, Marshall. Now Jackson, men queuing up. Roger Wilson. Also trying just to secure field position.
Don't touch him.
And they're doing that. Callum Black's the man with the ball in his possession, and also churning forward. Referee saying play on. He will tell Ulster to play it in a moment.
Still there.
Still moving. Dan Tui has to go to ground. It's Robbie Dyack with the drive. Well, Herring has been busy.
Use it!
Herbst.
Stay up, White, stay up.
Now Marshall. Now Jackson. He's lost his footing as he came in off his right foot, but is it still there for Ulster? Yes, it is, and they've got a penalty.
6. We enter through the gate.
John Muldoon giving away his second penalty of the evening, the Connacht captain.
6.
I'm sure Paddy Jackson will want to go for the post just to try to increase that lead and make a decent cushion there for themselves.
There's been some heavy hits going in and some good work around the fringes. Also go a little bit into the wider channels, big hit, and then looks like Connacht have got some dominance, but referee adjudicating a player in from the side that's resulted in that turnover. But some good physical contact taking place in this game, everything you'd expect from an interprovincial derby.
Then you used and you scored a try. There was, I said, once.
Goal likes that, but it just drifted away. So Paddy Jackson, 2 successful kicks from 4 attempts, so 50% record. Probably not just good enough. It looked very good from where we were directly in line, but it just drifted outside the near post. So 10-3 it remains. That's been given a belt. Peter Nelson as ever. Another man who's happy at fullback too. That's not a bad kick from him. Carty's underneath, and he's called for the fair catch as Nelson was breathing down his neck. Didn't make an awful lot of ground, Carty, and it's going to be an Ulster line-out. And don't want to be too critical, but had Paddy Jackson nailed those 2 reasonably easy kicks, 16-3 would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, would have had a bigger margin, but Ulster still feel they're in control in this game. They're playing it in Connacht territory the last 15 minutes. They've been the team that's getting the points on the board, and they'll look to continue to assert that dominance through this line-out and further possession.
7-man line out for Ulster. Marshall, who was standing at the front, they had to get back. It's all a little bit flat and they've lost a bit of ground. Good tackle by Tom McCartney on Peter Nelson. Paul Marshall. Tui. Helped by Callum Black. Ulster pushed back about 10 metres or so. This is Clive Ross. Franco van der Merwe. Straight over the top of Dennis Buckley.
He's not in the side.
And this time it's a Connacht penalty.
5 isolated.
Chance for Connacht now to get closer to the Ulster line than they've been for quite some time. Franco van der Merwe maybe just not releasing quickly enough.
Yeah, it looked like he did too well in the contact. That got him past that initial contact zone, and Ulster players not able to get to him quick enough, and 2 Connacht players straight onto that. And first time they've had an opportunity in the last 15 or so minutes in Ulster territory. Bumped through that first tackle. That got him past, and Callum Black probably felt he was going to ground earlier on than that. And once that player gets that dominant position over the ball, very hard to dislodge. First man there generally wins that contest.
Coming up to the half-hour mark, 10-3 to the home side. Well taken by the bewhiskered Muldowney. Here's George Naupo. Good tackle once again by Rob Herring.
Leave it.
Probably top tackler at the moment for Ulster. Carty. Bundy Aki. Made a decent bit of ground. John Cooney in again. Dennis Buckley, who's a very mobile prop forward. He's had a little bit of bulk as well. Good pass by Muldowney to McCartney. Connacht on the back foot. Here goes Ali Muldowney again. Had spells with Exeter and Glasgow. Oh, that's cleverly done. Was there a bit of obstruction there? I don't think so. Back to Paddy Jackson. He's given that plenty of length. Matt Healy. I think that was nudged forward by Healy. And also will be grateful for the scrummage.
It always looks dangerous with ball in hand, Healy. Very good sidestep, comes at pace, and then just a little hitch kick, and then off he goes again, off. And then just managing to get a hold of the ball, Darren Cove, some intelligent defending. Looked like he was beaten, but managed to get a flailing hand out there and dislodge the ball. And again, it'll be Ulster possession. Opportunity now. May go through one phase to try and bring the outside wingers up and get some grass behind them to kick into. Kicking options across the park. Stuart Olding capable. Interesting switch in the centres there. Darren Cave going to 12, so potentially it could be a miss pass to Olding, and then as the winger comes up to nullify the ball going wide, the kick in behind.
Speaking of back divisions, the Connacht back division is probably the youngest in the championship. Danny Pullman at 25 is the oldest. Solid looking Ulster scrum. Connacht trying to get a squeeze on though. Well, the Ulster make a mess of it. Unfortunately, Connacht got themselves offside. Bit of miscommunication there between Ulster's 8 and 9.
Yes.
No, in fact, the penalty went against the Connacht loose head prop, Dennis Buckley, for coming in illegally on an angle. And Jackson stuck that nicely.
It's been a pretty good contest at scrum time. No team really in the ascendancy, but Ulster just starting to get a few little nudges on now at scrum time, and you can make your own decisions on that one. Probably got the call from the sideline.
Yeah, I would think the man on the far side, Nigel Correll, called that one.
Cooney, watch the inside, Cooney. That way, Coons. Your zone, Cooney, your zone, mate.
Oh, taken by Tui. Jackson. Looking back inside and finding Gilroy yet again. Well picked up. Good hands by Ulster. Dan Tui over the 10-metre line. Now Marshall, quicker stuff. Callum Black. Oh, he's done well, Black. That's good work, but Bundiaki's held on to him. Now Marshall again. Tui. Good support by Robbie Dyack. Jackson. Well, the idea was right, but Nelson just couldn't quite hold it. Connacht's ball. Dennis Buckley at scrum half. Doesn't look out of position at all, does he?
Okay, he's under pressure there.
But they'll come back, I think, for Ulster's knock forward.
Yeah, thank you.
7 minutes or so to go. Half has really flown in, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been entertaining stuff, and some good defence again, good line speed, couple of willing defenders there, and opportunities. Great pick-up from Robbie Dyack there, and then promoting that ball onward. Not a huge amount of offloads given these conditions from either side, but nice attacking position now for Connacht midfield scrum. First of all, they'll need stability up front.
Yeah.
Connacht have had injury problems in the front row in recent weeks. 3 or 4 players not available, and then a late cry-off just this morning. Ronan Lockery pulling out. Dennis Buckley, who had played last week, came off the bench, and JP Cooney is on the bench as a replacement loose head prop. More of that later, I'm sure.
I want you to bind immediately as well. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. I said you're fine. I want that bind up, Lord. I know you missed it. Let's go.
John Lacey having another word with Dennis Buckley, the Connacht loose head prop, with his binding on the far side. Hard really to comment as we can't see it. But what we can see is Finlay Bealham up against Callum Black. Black's scrummaging has been more than adequate. In fact, it's been outstanding this season. Well, that's a good squeeze. Look at Black. Great effort there from the chunky loose head. Ulster have made a mess of that. They haven't, though, I don't think, managed to turn it over. Cooney. A spill forward. No advantage to Ulster, so they'll get it put into the scrum. Just starting to get the edge in that particular set piece, Ryan.
Yeah, just starting to creak, and that's really denying Connacht the platform. A midfield scrum, you split your backs either side, a real attacking opportunity to go from there. Both wingers have to be up slightly because they could go either way. Fullback's a bit more exposed at the back for a kicking option, but once that platform's disrupted and the ball's back, you lose that attacking option, and Ulster doing very well now. 5 minutes more, they'll look to get something on the scoreboard by that continued dominance of territory and possession.
It was the youngster Ulton Delan spilled it forward, came in again at the 11th hour for Quinn Roux, who had a couple of seasons with Leinster.
Set.
So they'll have to do that again. Nobody at fault. They just slipped.
Okay, boys.
Callum Black saying he's been taken down, I think.
Let's go over here.
John Lacey bringing them over near to the centre of the field because the ground is getting a little bit cut up. There's been a lot of rain, of course.
Set it beforehand. Get him underneath you.
This might make it an even more interesting scrum because it's Ulster's put in. If they can get a squeeze in that right-hand side with V and Herbs at tight head, there might be something on the far side.
Yeah, Cooney will have to be very aware if that scrum starts to go with Paul Marshall. They've got someone who's lightning on the base, and a real opportunity if Ulster can get the right shoulder up.
Well, it's all about getting it in straight, which they've done, on the hook, which is good. And they've got the drive. Marshall looking to sneak round, but he's changed his mind. Now Jackson. Lovely little overhead pass. Ludick. Tackled by Dave McSharry.
Advantage.
Oh dear. Herbs wasn't too sure whether to go for that or not. And Ulster, having knocked it forward, have given away the penalty. Just over 3 minutes to go. So another little fumble there by Ulster. Thought there was an injury there, but I think the only thing that's injured is Robbie Dyak's lace. Holding on to the tackle against Ulster. Darrell Leader. Skied that a little bit, but it's not a bad touch. No, there might be a chance for Connacht just if they can get something by half-time. They'll be the happier of the two.
Yeah, really came out of the blocks and were executing particularly well, going through multiple phases. Got that 3 points on the board, but Ulster have responded really well in execution of their game plan, which is very much territory-based, and the half lit up by a scintillating try by Craig Gilroy.
It's McCartney on Ulster's 10-metre line. Taken ill by Ali Muldowney.
He's in the trees in the front. 3 out!
Good protection of the football by Connacht. And they're still going. This is good work. That's a good drive. Ulster will need to be on their mettle here. Ball's into the back with Willie Falloon. Now it's Cooney. Carty had to fumble. Bundy Aki. Nice little show of the ball. This is good stuff. Danny Pullman, who's ferociously quick. Good covering tackle. Connacht still pressing home now, looking for something before the interval. Good offload by Willie Falloon. Back in what he must regard as home turf. Still there, Muldowney. Good support from Ulton Gillan. Cooney. Dyak comes through. Nothing wrong with that. He did the right thing. And he slowed it all down for Connacht. Ali Muldowney has a go.
And release 7!
Clive Ross made the tackle and got away from the man he tackled. Minute and a half to go. Still Connacht pressing. Now it's Carty. Misses out Bundy Aki. Darrell Leader. Well tackled by Peter Nelson.
Ball is out.
Aki goes to scrum half. The ball was out, says the referee. That's okay. Willie Falloon, who captained Connacht against Ulster in Galway last year. Dennis Buckley. Wonderful tackle by Dan Toohey. Cooney. Muldowney. Fian Herbs throws himself into the tackle. John Muldoon, Connacht's captain. His opposite number 6, Robbie Dyak, made the tackle. George Naupu managed to get across the gain line. He's got his nose in front, which is important. Here's Muldowney again, and again it's Rob Herring. 30 seconds remaining. Jack Carty, no way through. Oh, stopped in his tracks wonderfully well.
Use
by Stuart Olding. McCartney. Connacht still hanging on to possession. Nice little offload by Finlay Bealham. Now it's Cooney. All the pressure coming from Connacht. They're getting closer and closer, but they haven't made it. And the referee blows his whistle and gives Ulster the penalty. And we have 40 minutes played. What a good piece of defence by Ulster.
Yeah, excellent. Connacht going through phases. A fantastic initial break, but after that, they weren't able to produce the quality of possession to break down that Ulster defence. And by committing too many to the breakdown, it all gets a little bit narrow and makes it easier for Ulster to bunch up defensively, and that impregnable defensive line. And Ulster will be very happy to have kept Connacht out in the dying minutes of that first half.
Connacht looking strong at the start of the game, or the start of the half and at the end of the half, but in between territorially and as far as the scoreboard was concerned, it was mostly Ulster.
Yeah, very well executed in terms of what you imagine was the game plan, was to kick for field position. Once you establish that, put pressure on opposition set piece and maintain that possession inside opposition territory, and that led to some opportunities for penalties, and then one piece of individual brilliance that really got Ulster ahead on the scoreboard.
One try in the first half scored by Ulster's wing three-quarter Craig Gilroy, the rest by kicks. A conversion and penalty from Paddy Jackson. The man who started it all off after 5 minutes was the Connacht outside half, Jack Carty. So Ulster will not be too displeased. They're leading by 7 points at the interval, and the score is Ulster 10 and Connacht 3.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Ryan. It's been a bit of a festive arm wrestle so far. Ulster certainly deserved of their half-time lead. What did you make of the first half, gentlemen?
Yeah, well, considering the conditions, I suppose it was okay.
Just okay.
But, you know, it's a cool night out here, and they're doing their best to give us a bit of a performance, but it's probably fallen a little bit short of the mark at this point. But, you know, it's a long way to go. Things have stood up fairly well in terms of defence and so forth, so they can keep going, and I think they've finished strongly there, and that'll lead them into the second half all right.
Bar the try, Ulster didn't set the world alight, but a much better performance, Morris.
It has been. I mean, it's not a festive cracker match. It's been a bit of a journeyman performance. Connacht came out as we knew Connacht would come out, and I mean, they always bring about a spirited passion from the West, and they challenged Ulster for the first 5 minutes the same way as they did in the last 5, but in between that, Ulster are more dominant in the lineouts and more dominant in the scrums. They're dominant in the breakdown. Their defensive line has been better than it has been in previous weeks, and you know, yes, they're 10 points to 3 ahead, and it should have been 16. They were 2 very kickable penalties that they missed. So, I mean, it's been an adequate performance. It hasn't been scintillating.
Yeah, but they scored a first-class try, it has to be said. I mean, a marvellous finish by Craig Gilroy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he took his try exceptionally well. You know, he should have been closed down. As Morris said, you know, the line-out's been functioning exceptionally well here tonight, and they've kept their patience going well here. And this is a set move, and we've seen it a few times this season already. And you know, the Fords are doing exceptionally well. There's a lot of hard yards going in up in this early point, so just absorbing players into the game.
I think, Andy, you can see they're all mauled going forward. Stuart Olding takes what they call as a screen line here. Ball coming off. Stuart Olding is a screen line. Paddy Jackson takes the ball. Craig Gilroy run the same line that Tommy Bowe's been running all season, and justifiably doing
I'd say Strictly Down Dancing's going to give him a shout out at the end of this set. Look at that. Paddy Jackson, superb. He knew that was coming. He knew that big shot was coming. He just a lovely set of soft hands, but Gilly's done exceptionally well here.
Spin. That is a preview for Strictly Come Dancing for next year. Again, a really good, something that Paddy Jackson's done perfectly well there. He's taken the ball to the defensive line. He knew the hit was going to come. He just offloads the ball into the air, and Craig Gilroy just hits that angle.
I think Pat Lamb would be a little disappointed with the defence there, to be fair, but you know, it just goes to show that hit and spin is very effective given in the right hands.
And if you were on the Strictly Come Dancing panel, you'd give that full 6 for that, would you?
No, Len goes for the 10.
Yeah. Oh, you go for the 10. You
go for the 10 in the dance.
Okay, we'll pause the analysis for just a moment, because this is a big time special treat for all the Ulster fans and you watching at home. The world #1 golfer Rory McIlroy is here this evening, complete with the Open Championship trophy, the Claret Jug, which he won this summer. Previous owner, of course, was Darren Clark, but Rory McIlroy, double major champion this year. He's come to the Kingspan Stadium this evening, and wait till you hear this welcome for Rory McIlroy, introduced to all of the Ulster fans. And a hug from Sparky as well. Well, Rory's year could hardly have been any better. He won the Open, he also won the US PGA, two of golf's most prestigious tournaments. Next year, of course, he'll try and win a 5th major title. The Masters in Augusta would be nice, and if he can slip on the green jacket, he'll be just the 6th person in history to complete a golfing Grand Slam. That by the age of just 25. It is incredible. The fans singing "Stand Up for the Ulster Man," as they have been doing at a lot of golf courses around the world this year. I mean, McIlroy, sensational season. He was the European Tour Player of the Year. He won the flagship event, the PGA at Wentworth. He won a World Golf Championship. He helped Europe beat America to win the Ryder Cup. I mean, Andy Morris, does it get any better for this young man, other than come here tonight?
Well, this is clearly his pinnacle of his year, obviously, right here, but coming out. But, you know, it's a credit to him. You know, he's always been a homegrown man, and he's always stayed true to his roots. He hasn't bombed on somewhere else. He loves coming back to Ravenhill, I know that for a fact, and he'll enjoy this moment here. You know, he's come along as a schoolboy watching the guys play rugby, and now he's getting his chance out here as well. It's great.
That's great, Andy, as well for the fans, and we love our sports stars here. Rory's on the top of his game, young Carl Frampton, boxing as well. And when for such a small province, obviously we know about Darren and G-Mark as well in the golfing fraternity, but for them to see Rory in the flesh, to see the claret jug in the flesh, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great ambassador for Northern Ireland. He's brought about 9 or 10 of his mates to the match tonight. You can't wipe the smile off his face, but for the Ulster fans, to have an Ulster man through and through and a big Ulster rugby supporter come here with one of the world's most famous sporting trophies, it's a lovely Christmas treat.
Shadow of a doubt, Stephen, you're right. You know, we're very fortuitous to have this sort of to witness this sort of scenario here. You know, it's not every day, as you say. The cup that he's carrying around has only been held by so many people in the world, and have it walking around Ravenhill here tonight is pretty awesome.
I think what was a great touch as well, Stephen, earlier on, was that the claret jug was in the public bar downstairs, and a lot of the kids would come along and get their photograph taken with the jug, which is an absolutely amazing achievement.
What does it say about the match tonight that this has been the absolute highlight so far?
Well, no, I disagree with you, because about 20 minutes into that first half, I saw Sparky doing the jig down in the in goal here, and he was looking pretty lively. But, oh no, this is great. It's really awesome.
We'll leave Rory to his lap of honour, and hopefully we will speak to him very, very shortly. The lineouts tonight have been one of the most positive aspects of Ulster's performance, without a doubt, Morris.
They have, and it's been an area where they've probably criticised them over the last couple of games, but it's the simplicity, it's the accuracy, the ball's in, off the top and away. That creates the front foot ball where you can actually then get phases of play coming in. So, as again, from one of the lineouts is where we actually created the try from. But again, that's something that Ulster have been working on all season, and have been developing that. Just every now and again, under pressure, things seem to go awry.
Yeah, you know, it's been under pressure is right, and you know, it's nice to see that they've gone away, obviously, and worked hard at it. It's come back out here, and we're getting a bit of fruition tonight. So, long may it continue, because there's a lot of rugby played in the coming weeks and months.
What have you made of Paddy Jackson's performance this evening? Fair to say, a little bit of ring rust, and then he slowly eased his way into the game.
Yeah, but you see it right from the very start. Obviously, he takes the ball here, under a wee bit of pressure, tries to be grubber, kicks sideways, hits it too hard. Again, a couple of minutes in, should have kicked that. That was a kickable penalty that he missed. But it is just ring rust. He just has to get to the pace again. But then again, this one here, again, a wee bit too far for the cross kick. Again, just he wasn't on, this timing just wasn't right. But then I missed that one. Then we've seen the magic of what Paddy can do. When he gets confident, he takes the ball flat to the defensive line, asks questions of the defence, and he creates position, creates holes for his support runners, and that's what he's very, very good at.
Paddy plays his best rugby when he's attacking the ball, and you know, Ruan Pienaar for me is the guy who actually helps to set Paddy Jackson alive. He really puts it out there for Paddy to come onto, and that's when he's at his best, and he pulls the passes back. So just as he wasn't progressing, I noticed he was getting deeper and deeper into the pocket. So tonight he's coming back into his form.
Yet really to see the Ulster, you know, the first pairing you want to see, the 9 and 10. We haven't really seen Pienaar and Jackson this season. We're going to just sort of pause you right there, because we do have the world #1 golfer, Rory McIlroy. He's completed his lap of honour, I think. Can we see him? Where is he? Has he completed? There he is. He's talking to Gavin Andrews.
Well, Rory, you've been to Old Trafford. How was that?
That was pretty special. Getting a rendition of "Stand Up for the Ulster Man" was it was pretty cool.
You changed it, "Stand Up for the Ulster Man." It's a new song for you.
"Stand Up for the Ulster Man," yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, obviously Old Trafford is, you know, a big Man United fan. It's great to go there and you know, be honoured to do that. But I guess to bring this trophy home and do it here at Ravenhill is it's a pretty cool thing to do.
You have a strong connection with this place, don't you?
I really do, yeah. A lot of friends on the team, growing up with a few of the boys, and when I used to sort of live here full time, I'd come here every Friday night, and you can't beat a good Friday night at Ravenhill, and it's great to be back. It's great to be able to come back with this thing, and the reception I received out there was fantastic.
Do you have any sympathy for the boys competing on Boxing Day, because you're in the kind of off season at this stage?
Yeah, I'm off season, so I can actually enjoy myself, enjoy my Christmas dinner, have a few drinks. Yeah, the boys are oh dear. So yeah, it's it is what it is. Whenever I'm competing in the summer, they have a bit of time off as well.
So when does the business start again for you?
4th of January, I head out to Dubai and get back playing. So Abu Dhabi starts on the 15th of January. So I'll go out there and get myself back into shape and try and start the 2015 season strongly.
And what are the big targets? There's talk of the McSlam or the Rory Slam, whatever you want to call it.
I just want to try and get myself ready for Augusta first. But then. Yeah, so as long as I'm ready for April and I can concentrate on the Masters, and that's only one left to win, so hopefully fingers crossed I can give myself a good chance there.
Thanks for your time, good to see you. We'll let you enjoy that for a couple of minutes.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Big cheer for Rory McIlroy, and a DJ with a very twisted sense of humour. At least Rory McIlroy saw the entertaining side of that. It certainly wasn't lost on him anyway. Welcome home to Belfast. Welcome home here to the Kingspan Stadium. And let's hope that will rouse the crowd for the second half and help Ulster see off Connacht here this evening.
Oh, very much so. We like a little bit of homegrown and so forth, and Rory's just epitomises everything that's good about Ulster sport and everything. So he's a treasure, a national treasure, as it were. So, but I think Ulster need to go on. The last few games that played out, the first 40 minutes have been pretty average, to be honest, and they've sort of come to get good in the second half. So I'm hoping they can springboard. The set pieces function exceptionally well tonight. They've got to keep it going, ram this thing home, and go into New Year's.
And a confident Paddy Jackson can really help to make this Ulster side a lot more confident in the second half.
I think so, and I will say the Ulster players will want to see the 2014 out in a positive way, playing towards the Memorial end, which is their favourite end to play towards. Their points up. That first half performance by Connacht was a huge defensive effort by them, and questionably also maybe in the last 20 minutes of the second half the gaps will start to open and they'll start putting scores. A bit like last year, it was first half was like nip and tuck. Towards the second half the scores came in.
Okay, Maurice Sandy, thank you very much. It's time for the second half and time to rejoin our commentary team, Ryan Constable and Jim Neely.
Well, the Connacht skipper John Muldoon looking very purposeful. I'm sure there's been a lot said, and Pat Lam would have one or two things to say to them in the dressing room at the interval. Doesn't look as if Connacht have made any replacements at half-time. They're still wearing those same muddy jerseys, but what a season they've had. And remember, they're well, same as Ulster in terms of wins and draws and losses, but because Ulster's greatest bonus point tally is 5 compared with 1, Ulster leading them by 4 pull points. So Roger Wilson, and this, as we mentioned, the occasion of his 300th senior competitive game. 1 full cap for Ireland, was probably worthy of many, many more. 11A internationals. Wolf Hound's World 15. Close to 120 appearances for the Northampton Saints. And here tonight making his 169th appearance for Ulster. Signed up for another couple of years, so Roger Wilson, I suspect, will be a man who will hit the 200 mark of Ulster caps. John Lacey, who scampered up and down this turf on the wing for Munster some years ago to get the second half underway. Ulster leading by 10 points to 3. Might well have been more, but Ulster will be looking for more to come. Jack Carty. Just confirmed no changes on either side. Taken in by Van der Merwe, and then Clive Ross. Ulster shunting forward. Marshall looking to kick down that far touchline. He's brought that infield a wee bit. It's not a bad kick. Good challenge by Ulster back in the Connacht side. Dave McSharry thought twice about the pass and decided to go forward. A lot of men out wide. If Connacht can shift this, so they've outflanked Ulster very slightly. Willie Falloon pops the ball straight into touch. Not Willie's greatest pass. Some very good seasons with Ulster. A lot of people felt it was a shame that he went off to Connacht. Could he come back?
Well, he's under contract at Connacht for next season. Bewhiskered that he is there. A man who always puts everything into his performances. All action, big tackles, effective at the breakdown, and I'm sure Connacht are enjoying his contribution to the game thus far.
He shared accommodation with Ian Whitten for a couple of seasons, and I believe it was like something out of Animal Farm.
Yeah, I think there were a few chickens that were laying in the backyard, that's for sure.
Good long pass. Here comes Wilson. Marshall. Dan Tui met with strong resistance there. Jackson. Miscue. But well taken by the try scorer, Craig Gilroy. Marshall looking for a runner, gets it in the shape of Robbie Dyack. Connacht's first up tackling is good though. Again, slight miscue by Marshall this time. Darrell Leader had to stretch. Was an obstruction there, referee says no, and Leader's made an awful lot of ground. Carty saw a bit of space. Robbie Dyack. Gilroy. Not the greatest kick in the world. A lot of options here for Connacht. This is Darrell Leader. Nailed by his opposite full-back, Louis Ludick. Cooney. Good tackle by Dyack. That was Muldoon at scrum half. George Naupu. Another good piece of work by Rob Herring. Carty. Bundiaki. Great work by Stuart Olding just as the pass was being made. The New Zealander has come back and has taken the ball again. That's clever stuff by Ulster. Alas, straight into touch. Good turnover there. Interesting start to this first half. Again, Connacht just slightly the stronger.
Yeah, it's been very physical. Excellent.
Second half, I should say. Do beg your pardon.
Excellent. The theme continues. Connacht, good recovery from Bundiaki. And then there it is. Clive Ross, it looks like, gets over the ball there. And could have been a good option if it stayed in, but unfortunately straight out. And Connacht with the first opportunity.
It's the second time Connacht have used Willie Falloon to jump at the front of the line out, and successfully too. Roger Wilson came flying out. Carty into a wee bit of space. That's nicely done. That could bounce from McSharry, but it's come off his knee, and McSharry's got a lot of pace. And that's very well covered by Louis Ludick. And he's presented it nicely, and plenty of white jerseys get back. Here goes Herring. Great determination by Ulster's hooker. Marshall. And that was the sensible thing to do. Make sure it went into touch and then start again.
Yeah, after that frantic passage of play, absolutely the right thing to do. And we're used to, in the last few weeks, seeing Rory Best lead this team and a standout player in a losing team, as we see that ball bouncing. Commitment on the ground from Louis Ludick, and excellent recovery from Ulster to salvage that field position. But it's Rob Herring that's really setting the pace in the two jersey and taking the relay baton from Rory Best, who has been Ulster's standout performer in the last few weeks.
This is Connacht's number 2, Tom McCartney. Now for at the back, Cooney. Given a wee bit too much room, perhaps. That's gone loose. And then Ulster knocked it forward, so no advantage to the men in white. And they'll get the put into the scrummage. Just 5 minutes gone in the second half. 10 points to 3. Connacht with a terrific performance in their last European game, going away to Bayonne and coming back with a win.
Yeah, we're another very good performance the week before against Leinster, and playing with that tenacity again. Never easy opponents, and certainly fronted up at Kingspan Stadium. Ulster will be looking forward to this scrum. They're really starting to get some dominance in that aspect of play, and they'll be looking to get maximum return from this one.
First proper glimpse of the Ulster tight head, Vian Herbst, to tweak the hamstring, caused him to miss 3 games, but he's back earlier than perhaps expected. Nick Williams is a grade 3 tear, he told me before the game, so he's going to be, well, 3 or 4 weeks away. Down goes the scrum. John Lacey not too dissatisfied with it. There was nothing illegal, so he asked him to go again. That Herb's feet just leaving him at the back. Despite missing some games, this is his 12th start of the season. Just missed 2, in fact, as it turns out. He's a special project player, which means that in 2.5 years' time he'll be Irish qualified.
Crouch!
How wonderful to see a packed house here.
Bind! Set!
I can remember the days when Ulster used to play Connacht on a Saturday afternoon, and they used to read out the names of the spectators to the teams. There were so few people came. Changed times indeed, and for the better. Marshall. A bit of an overlap there. Holding. Puts the foot in the gas. Very nearly got away. Good covering tackle. Cave in, helping his fellow centre. Paul Marshall. Franco van der Merwe. Dyack trying to clear out a Connacht man who was over the top of Van der Merwe. Slow ball for Ulster, but they've still got it. Jackson to kick. That's going to drop tantalisingly outside the 22. Bit of a wind. Darrell Leader took it well. John Cooney. Carty. Connacht had men there, but he opted to kick. Jackson. Knocked back into the hands of George Naupu, who fancies himself as an outside half, perhaps. Dyack. Craig Gilroy. Leader again. Now they move it. Carty. Giving that a bit of a hoof. Well gathered by Paddy Jackson. That's a nice little kick by Jackson. He looked to be instructed by McSharry. John Lacey wasn't looking at that. Neither, indeed, it seems, was the official on the near side, but they're happy to play on. Gilroy, the try scorer. Ever dangerous Matt Healy. Bundy Aki. Haven't really seen him stretch those legs. Here he goes, though. Oh, now you can see why Connacht signed him. Dyack been pushed back by Cooney. Danny Pullman. Naupu. Cooney again. Good continuity by Connacht. Healy. McSharry took that in touch. And Tui wants to take it quickly. He was a wee bit on the aggressive side. McSharry, a member of one of the recent Irish Junior World Cup squads.
Yeah, just trying to exploit that space out wide, but pass just a bit too high. Some poor execution there from Connacht. And opportunity now for Ulster. Line out time in opposition territory. We're pretty keen to stretch that margin beyond 7, take it, give them some degree of comfort as this game moves on.
Well, I think we're about to see the entrance of one of the great rugby players of the modern era, because Darrell Leader is going off, and on comes the man who was the second New Zealander to play 100 international tests for the New Zealand All Blacks, the great Mills Muliaina. So we say farewell to Darrell Leader, and there is his replacement, Mills Muliaina, 34 years of age, wonderful rugby player.
Yeah, and he'll be doing a lot of communicating from the back, giving some confidence to that front line, making decisions for them, and all that experience will be brought to bear.
Roger Wilson has the ball at the back of that. He's still maintaining contact. He's been told to use it. Marshall inside to Gilroy. I thought that was a bit high. It was around chest level, nothing wrong with it. Marshall again. Franco van der Merwe. Tackled by Naupu.
One is on his feet.
Yeah, Buckley on that occasion, low centre of gravity, over the ball. Willie Falloon sitting in behind him to offer him that support, and the turnover comes. Connacht opportunity, kick deep into Ulster territory, and just try and get something functioning off their set piece. There's times when we've glimpsed what they're capable of, some clean line breaks out wide, and Some excellent positioning there from Buckley, as we see on the replay, to claim that ball.
Just about 10 minutes gone in the second half. Still 10-3 to Ulster, but Connacht looking very threatening. Well, they try to bring the great man in at some stage. That's gone loose. Herring goes down, couldn't quite gather it in. Taken on by Connacht's captain, John Muldoon. Knocked forward by the youngster. Delan. Olding decides to put boot to it, and no advantage to Ulster, but the referee has decided the advantage is over. Here's Mills Muliaina. Tackled straight away by Franco van der Merwe. Pullman in the outside half, knocked forward, scooped up. Darren Cave takes the hit of Dave McSharry.
Still advantage not gone.
Referee still playing advantage. Wilson makes progress. Van der Merwe running a support line, had to take it on himself. Now Jackson looked a wee bit forward too. He's nearly got away. Jackson has got away, but it's all gone loose. Ulster still have it though. Olding, late replacement, remember, for Luke Marshall, who was the original selection. Paul Marshall. Callum Black, another man who's had a busy night. Good decision by Marshall to go on that narrow side. Tui might well have been forward.
Forward, I agree. Spot on.
Olivier Connacht scrimmage. Very close margins here, Ryan.
Yeah, call came from the sideline. Referee said he agreed with it, and difficult to see from that angle, but two of the officiators ruling the same way. And option stands. Connacht now looking to really get some purchase in the second half. It's been very stop-start, fairly high quality given the conditions in the first half, but a number of little errors now creeping into the game and robbing it of any real continuity.
Well, Marshall took the right option, and Tui's pass, yeah, even.
And moving into that 10-point margin, but just shows the ability of this Connacht pack and the development of this team over the last few years. Very close to Leinster last week, bar a last-minute try that took the scoreline away, and now with 12 minutes left on the clock, they're within striking distance of Ulster.
Bit of a pause as Roger Wilson leaving the field. I think he is leaving the field.
I'd say Rob Herring will probably move into that back row, probably the open side possession. He's shown he's capable of it, the breakdown, and Andrews will go into that hooking position.
So John Andrew, the hooker, the brother of winger come fullback Ricky Andrew, is on for just his second senior Ulster cap. Rob Herring, who began his senior career as an open side flanker, will go in there. Well charged down by the current open side flanker, Clive Ross. Also need to respond immediately. That 3-point margin is not an impressive one. Rodney Ayew has come on for Connacht. Another Irish international. They had 3 on the bench, including Mills Muliaina. John Andrew perilously close to being offside there. The first thing he nearly did was give away a penalty. Ulster scrapping for everything on the deck. John Lacey having a good look, but it's back in the Connacht side. Bundyaki has a go, but gets nowhere quickly. Ulster will want, for the last 10 minutes or so, to keep the game played in this part of the field. Needless to say, Carty. Well, that's a very good kick by Carty.
Yeah, excellent clearance. Connacht really struggling there to get any solid platform and get one of their players in kicking position to get that clearance. This is where Ulster want to be, try and get some comfort in that scoreboard. Connacht still within striking range, but the focus now just needs to be on securing possession from that line out, communication between the backs and forwards as to which play they use from the playbook.
Craig Ronaldson, I do believe, was on for Connacht. Jack Carty having gone off. Ulster's line out. Herring still throwing. Well taken by Dan Tui.
That's 1-9.
Ulster need a few more insurance points, that's for sure. Now Upu comes round. Referee happy with that. The crowd needed to say not happy. Somewhere in the middle of that, I think Ulster still have the ball and they're making progress.
Ball's available now.
John Lacey just having a look to see where the Connacht defenders are placed. Marshall also need to be clever with the ball and keep their eye on it. And goes John Andrew. Well, Marshall's under all sorts of pressure there, and he's not really controlling that. Dan Tui. Better by Marshall. John Muldoon told to get away by the referee. Now Marshall. Paddy Jackson inside to Stuart Olding. Well left. Marshall on the narrow side. Herring. He's been outstanding and must be a candidate, I'm sure, for the man of the match. Taken on yet again by Ulster. Muldoon slow to get away. Bit loopy there by Marshall, and Jackson had to stretch and check, which has slowed the whole thing down.
Turnover is good.
Ulster might just have lost that one. Yes, they have. Marmion. Craig Ronaldson. First act is to put the ball deep into Ulster territory. Nelson is in his 22. He's plenty of time. Here comes Pullman. That's very well struck from a very narrow angle. He hasn't made a great deal of ground, but he's made it safe. But Connacht now have possession on their inside Ulster's 10-metre line.
Yeah, some excellent work at the breakdown and just creating that opportunity. The clear out comes through, but Connacht still in control and managing to find a way to manage that possession back and create this opportunity now inside Ulster territory. 8 minutes left on the clock, and we've seen what they're capable of close range with that driving maul, and interesting to see whether they employ that or go to one of their strike moves. Little confab in the middle of the pitch between Bundy Aki, Mills Muliaina, just deciding what they're going to do if they get possession.
Ulton Delan has left the field. The vastly experienced Andrew Brown, a late addition to the replacements panel, wearing number 19, has come on. So plenty of experience coming off the Connacht bench. There's McCartney. Again, it's Falloon at the front, and Ulster trying to drive Connacht toward the touchline and doing a pretty decent job of it. Connacht still have the ball though. Muldowney, number 5, the try scorer, just protecting it. And they're still going forward. Herring trying to wrestle it back. Good work by him. Connacht having to go to ground again. Declan Fitzpatrick told to get behind the rear foot, and he does just that. It's Muldowney who's had a great evening for Connacht. Danny Pullman. Remember, a Connacht penalty here would give them the draw. Ronaldson. Tackled by Darren Cave. Kieran Marmion. Big effort now from Connacht. Ali Muldowney. Pullman again. Tricky customer. Good tackle by Alan O'Connor. Marmion. Rodney Ayew outside him. Marmion again. Ulster up very quickly. 6.5 minutes remaining. 3 points between them. This is a game that Ulster cannot simply afford to lose. Sean Reedy in the middle of all that. Back on the Connacht side. Well picked up off the toes. Here's Pullman. Wonderful defence by Stuart Olding. Bundy Aki.
Off your feet.
Marmion, as we go on the narrow side, runs into Irish teammate Craig Gilroy. Aki at scrum half. Good work by Ulster. They may just have snaffled that on the ground. And they won the scrum, and the crowd really showed their appreciation. That was a fair bit of old grit there by the Ulster defence.
Yeah, line speed again at this late stage in the game. Impressive from Ulster, and it was Dan Tui who got out of the blocks there, and then good commitment on the ground by Declan Fitzpatrick, and Ulster piling over that, sensing the threat from Connacht, and stable scrum here, good exit from this half, and play the rest of this game in Connacht territory will certainly be the call.
We'll watch.
5 minutes remaining.
Here, boys.
3 points between them.
Give me the mark, let's go.
At 13-3, you'd have thought Ulster will go on and win this comfortably. It's far from comfortable. And there's no comfort zone in those scrums.
Point! Set! It's over that side.
I think Dennis Buckley just gave ground a little bit to try to fool the referee. It's very easy to do that when you go down and then you suddenly just take a, not quite a step back, but you move the body back and it looks as if the opposition is going forward and maybe even going down. Connacht will try everything to gain themselves a penalty, I'm pretty sure, from here.
Crouch!
Fingernails left, I wonder.
Bind! Set!
Marshall. Sean Reedy at number 8. Marshall has to get it away, and he does get it away. Takes the right option, I think, to kick it. Mulianina waits.
Oh, Greens!
Delicate kick. Gathered by Paddy Jackson. No space there for Jackson. And Ulster have stolen that, but they've stolen it illegally, it seems. And the referee penalises the home side with just over 3 minutes remaining. Connacht now have the chance to get back into Ulster territory and squeeze something out of this. I'll tell you something, there'll not be a lot of people be sitting in their seats too comfortably this evening here.
No, Connacht have got to go for distance on this kick. With that amount of time left on the clock, really have to go for the speculative option, and still difficult. They're going to have to strike from deep, and hasn't been their most effective weapon. They've had to work hard to create their try-scoring opportunities, and you just wonder if there's enough time left on the clock to make up the ground to get within distance. Ulster's discipline key now in defence. Can't give away a kickable penalty.
Yes, of course.
Connacht have made another change. Loose head prop replacement. J.P. Cooney is coming on, or is now on.
Ready, skipper?
And off has gone Dennis Buckley. It hasn't had a bad evening. Connacht's line out. 2.5 minutes to go. Bit of a fumble gathered in by Naupu. Run comes Tom McCartney to make it safe. Connacht will churn and try to force a penalty. Down it goes Marmion. Ronaldson steps inside Jackson. Sean Reedy with the tackle. Penalty against Connacht. Just over 2 minutes remaining. How crucial is that going to be?
That should allow Ulster to kill this game off. 2 minutes left on the clock. Kick into touch, slow assembly of the line out, secure that possession and just go through the phases to run the clock down will be the order of the day.
Well, Jackson does his bit. That's a very good kick in difficult circumstances by Paddy Jackson. Got underneath it a wee bit. He might go and have a lesson or two from Mr. McElroy.
Less. Don't go off that. Can I have a time check?
Minute and a half.
Try it again. 20 seconds.
Bob Herring taking his time. What a terrific evening he's had, deputising for Ulster skipper Rory Best. Alan O'Connor standing at the front for Ulster. Dan Toohey with the headgear off. Well, Toohey took it magnificently. Connacht battling for everything. John Andrew joins in. Ulster nudging forward. Heave, say the crowds, and heave they do. What Connacht don't want to do is to give away a penalty. Ulster still moving forward, but it's untidy, and Connacht do get the penalty.
Eight Greens arriving.
Again, Ronaldson doesn't make a great deal of ground. We're into the final minute here with only 30 seconds remaining. So the next time this ball goes dead, it's going to be all over, and Ulster will have held on for not an impressive victory, but a valuable victory.
Yeah, and you think Connacht will have to go for a strike move. They're not going to be able to generate enough quality of possession to move this up 20 or 30 metres and get in field goal range. So they're going to have to look for a strike move from one of their outside backs.
Connacht's throw. Taking it to the back. And Ulster pile in, not allowing Connacht to make any ground at all. McCartney has it in there, but they're not going to win the game by hanging on to it. They've got to do something with it. And Callum Black has spotted the ball, and the little chunky loose head prop has got in, and he's helped to disrupt. Marmion. The Connacht try Scorari Muldowney. Tackled by Clive Ross. Marmion Naupo again. There's the one last twist in the tail of this game, which has gone backward and forward. Ulster seem to have stolen that. Marshall straight into touch, and that should be no side, as they say in olden days. And John Lacey does blow his whistle, and Ulster have kept everybody on their toes, but they've come through and they've won it, and 4 very valuable points.
Yeah, an outstanding effort from Connacht to stay in this game and never out of it. Always had the belief to come back, but ultimately it was that stable platform Ulster created in the set piece, ferocity of their defence through that superior line speed that's got them home in a very close encounter, and as you said, very valuable points to get in the bag at this stage of the season.
Well, it takes Ulster a little bit further up the table, and more importantly, although Connacht will come away with a losing bonus point at Ravenhill, and having been tanked by 58 points to 10 back in April, it's a much improved Connacht performance here this evening on a wet Boxing Night, or St Stephen's Night as they call it in the rest of Ireland. And Ulster have come through this one relatively unscathed. Doesn't look as if there are any injury worries, and with a bit of luck they have 1 or 2 more players back and ready for the game at the RDS on the 3rd of January, a game that you can see with us here on BBC NI. So Ulster have got away with this one. In terms of territory and everything else, they probably deserve to win it, but they kept us worried right up until the final whistle. Ulster 13 and Connacht 10.
Well, it certainly won't go down as a classic, but it will go down as a very important Ulster win. And Andy Ward and Maurice Field, sometimes on a pretty ugly night weather-wise, it's all about simply getting the win and getting the victory, isn't it? That's what Ulster did tonight.
Very much so, Stevie. You know, win ugly is always a good shout. You know, but listen, they got across the line just no more, but credit to Connacht as well. I mean, they stuck at it. They came out in the first 5 minutes of that game today, and they were still going at it in the last 5 minutes, so credit all due to credit there. And but also did well. Their defence, as Ryan alluded to earlier on, that it was solid. You know, they kept going forward. There was some good things to come away from Ulster tonight for sure.
Apart from the victory, Maurice, and the 4 points, what else will Ulster take away from this game this evening?
Okay, they moved up the table to 3rd. The victory was absolutely necessary for their own confidence and how they're going to go forward, because these guys that are out in that park there today are the guys that are going to carry Ulster through for the next 7-8 weeks, given the international series that's coming up, and they're going to be doing the week in, week out, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be pitching for Ulster to get into Europe next year. I mean, it was a passionate Irish derby with honest endeavour on both sides, with very little sort of skill. It wasn't too much high-class skill.